Well, I already knew about most of these. Just looks pretty standard, but wait. Didn't I? That's what they did. Even though I still think they just need to go ahead and rework all the elementals. I think if they rework the elementals the right way, a lot of these legendary weapons won't be so overbearing, won't be so overpowered, and it'll be a little bit easier to balance. I think if they could get just adjust all of those all at once, I think it might make things a little bit easier to balance, especially with the legendaries. But what do I know? I've only been, doing QA on multiple games for the last decade. So, who am I? What do I know, right? Well, I'd hate to be that guy, but let's talk about this.
Can you
Hey everybody, what is going on? Brandon here with another Realm Royale video. Sorry I didn't do really any uploading last week. We've been doing a lot of stuff with the channel, and unfortunately a lot of the stuff we've been working on to help grow the channel made it so last week it was kind of difficult to get a lot of stuff done. But luckily my kids go back to school in about 4 days, so hopefully my uploads will start kicking into overdrive finally once all my kids go back to school, and it gives me more free time to actually do this. But anyways, most of you guys know I did a video covering the OB21 PTS. It was about 2 weeks ago. I did not have a copy of the patch notes or what they were working on because, again, not an official Realm Royale partner. So I didn't have anything to actually go off of, so I just had to play the PTS and give you guys a video of what my best guess on changes were from what I saw going on in the game. And for the most part, there's not a lot different. Now that the patch notes are made public, most of the big things that I talked about in the video are the big things that are addressed here. There is only a couple other things I didn't really talk about in that video that are in the patch notes that are going to be going forward with this patch. So that's what this video is, kind of to talk about the things that I missed in the PTS video, and one kind of much bigger announcement as far as my channel is concerned. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the first thing, which are the elemental changes. Now, I mentioned that in the intro, so I'm going to lead with that, so I'm not leaving you guys hanging. The elemental changes, they're reducing the amount of slow that you're going to get from frost from 50% to 25. Elemental damage from fire is going to decrease from 100 to 75 over the lifetime of the shot. These are good changes. I agree with these changes, but if it was me, I would just do something completely different. Well, not the frost element. I would leave the frost element basically the way it is. I think the reduction from 50 to 25% is actually pretty good. We'll see as time goes on how well this all works, especially in the competitive scene. But I like the way the frost element works. I wouldn't change that. Fire, for my eyes, though, I would completely rework. I would change fire. Rather than it doing damage over time, I would just redo it to where it's a cauterize, similar to Paladins, or it reduces the amount somebody can heal if they've taken damage from a fire weapon. If they've taken more shots from a fire weapon, make that stack. Make the amount they're going to be hurting and not be able to heal, take that up the more shots they take. I think that would probably be the better way to go. Keeping them from being able to take cover and heal a bunch in a short period of time will give a lot more incentive to use fire weapons, but also it won't make them so overpowered to where you have like the Shredder, which already deals damage over time, plus it's direct damage, and then it's got the fire element, which does more damage over time. And then you get the damage over time from the fire staff as well, and the axe, which the axe is going to be pretty OP after this patch, I believe, but I guess we'll wait and see. But I mean, I would just completely rework the fire elemental. I would just get rid of damage over time, switch it to a cauterize. I think it would allow for a lot more strategy in game and not so much just trying to be the strongest and deal out the most damage, but actually think and use strategy rather than just having another easy to use weapon that like everybody claims the Shredder is, and the fire axe and the stone staff. So definitely would totally rework the fire elemental, but that's just me. What do I know, right? Next up's chicken combat. I know I talked about this in the PTS video. I already talked about it, but I wanted to bring it up in this video just in case anybody didn't see the PTS video. You are going to be able to fight as chickens now. You'll have the ability to charge and headbutt, dealing very little damage. I mean, I definitely wouldn't try to take on somebody with full health as a chicken, but if you and your opponent are getting pretty low on health and he's maybe one shot away from being chicken and you get chicken, you have that opportunity to maybe charge him and chicken him and then maybe finish him off. So definitely chicken combat, I think, is going to add a lot to this game. I like it. I'm pretty interested to see some of the highlight reel finishes now that we're going to have chicken combat. I'm really interested in that side of things. One thing that I didn't talk about in the PTS video last week is the concussion grenade will now be able to self-knock back. So this will actually add a lot more strategy for people knocking themselves out of the way, especially Blink. I know self-conk with Blink, you can travel pretty far distances, but rather than make it to where it's going to be completely and utterly OP, they did make it to where it's actually going to cause damage to yourself if you use it like that. This is a welcome change. I definitely hate it when people will just be right next to you and they will just hit you with the concussion grenade and you'll go flying and they don't take any damage and they do nothing. This will give the incentive to not be so close when you throw it. So this is going to work both ways, as both a pro and a con for and against the concussion grenade. So definitely a welcome change. I'm interested to see some of the plays next week once this goes live. But yeah, definitely this patch so far looks like it's going to be great for getting replays and getting highlight reel kills. I think this update is really for that. We got the chicken combat, self-conk. I mean, we got a lot of highlight reel stuff coming into this patch. So definitely interesting to see some of the highlights going forward after this patch goes live. Probably be some really funny videos coming out. If we could only get proximity chat now, that would be great. The next big change I want to talk about is something we'd known was coming. We've been testing it over the last couple of PTSs. I kind of did not expect it to release with this patch. I'm glad it is because it allows me to make the announcement I was planning on making a while back. And I'm going to get to that here in a minute. But custom games is going to allow people, I think it said a minimum of 25 players. You have to have a minimum of 25 in order to host a custom game. Not that big of a deal, especially for a Battle Royale game. So custom games are supposed to be coming with this patch, hopefully on all platforms. Hopefully they don't limit it to PC because I've got plans for this. Custom games is going to allow me to host tournaments on the channel, or Nathan and I to host tournaments on the channel. This is something we've been talking about doing for a while with multiple games, but we really wanted to kick it off with Realm Royale because our biggest community, I think, is our VR community and our Realm Royale community. So we really did want to kick off a couple tournaments here soon. So the sooner these custom games go live, the sooner we can start putting those together. And the tournaments was something I was always going to do for the community, something I thought would be fun. But over the last month or two, I've realized how toxic, especially the Realm community can be, especially some of the quote-unquote top-tier players. And that has made me decide, not only do I want to do these tournaments, but I feel like I kind of need to. Because something I've always said, if you can go back to some of my oldest videos, something I've always said back in my earliest Paladins videos is games should be fun first, competitive second. Even during a tournament. I mean, Nathan and I, we grew up in the 90s and 2000s. So we were constantly at arcades at tournaments. We were constantly at card shops doing tournaments. We were constantly going and doing some form of game tournaments as we were growing up as kids. And it was, yeah, while it was competitive, it wasn't overly toxic. If somebody was too toxic, they were generally asked to leave. Now, in this day and age, that doesn't generally happen. Yeah, we decided to host our own tournaments with the primary rule of don't be an asshole. Pretty straightforward rule. If you're in the Discord before the tournament and you're just being straight up toxic and mean, you're going to be asked to leave. I'm not going to deal with a bunch of 20-somethings who think they know everything, trying to be toxic to everybody and discouraging new players from playing. And that's what I want. I want to grow the community. And if the core Realm Royale community is generating around that toxicity, then I'm going to start my own Realm Royale community, and we'll all just play our tournaments and have fun. So that's the goal. It's not just going to be Realm, though, so look forward to other games. Hopefully, the Cycle adds custom games when it launches. I would love to run custom games on there. I think that would be super fun. But more on tournaments at a later date, since this is an OB21 video. I'll discuss the tournaments at a later date, but custom games is supposed to be coming with this patch. So look forward to that, especially if you've got a bunch of friends on Xbox or a bunch of friends on Steam or a bunch of friends on PlayStation. You could be hosting your own tournaments in your own games. So this is actually probably my favorite change that we've had in a while. And the last big change I want to talk about is the throwing axe. It's actually getting some balance changes that I think it might make it a little OP. Its pre-fire rate's increased, but its projectile speed has also increased. So I don't know how much of a difference that's really going to make, but it could also mean we're going to have a lot faster throwing axes, and the damage has been increased. So the throwing axe will probably be pretty OP by the end of this patch. It will probably need nerfed substantially, or at least rebalanced, I guess. Maybe increase the pre-fire rate a little bit more. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so watch out for the throwing axe after this patch goes live. It's probably going to be pretty damaging. But guys, that's all the big changes really coming to the Realm Royale and OB21. If you didn't see my PTS video where I went over some of the bigger ones and showed them actually, go check that video out. Because I actually discussed a little bit more in depth for some of the actual changes that I played with and actually was able to see. So if you've not seen that video, go check that one out. But that's all the time I got for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video and you want to see more, please do me a favor and hit that red subscribe button. If you want to know anytime Nathan or I upload videos, please do us a favor and hit that bell icon so we'll be sure YouTube sends you notifications. And thank you guys, though. I will see you all next time.